Hi all, welcome to the third and the last episode regarding B2C Solution Architect Program Enablement being run by Salesforce Developer Group, Bangalore. In the first two episodes, we have spoken about what is exactly a B2C Solution Architect persona, from where to start, number of resources which is available to us. Then in the second episode, we spoke about data strategy, multiple connectors, how do we look into ID, then profiles, scope out that human into the whole of shopper experience. And in the last episode, we're going to speak about how to design B2C solutions, how to use all that knowledge we have gathered in the last two episodes, speak about data strategy and all, and design the solution which involves multiple clouds, how those clouds interact with each other, what is the length, the breadth and width of a typical B2C scenario, and how to uh, navigate through that. So, with that, we'll start today's session. And I would like to thank you again, the group leaders, for letting us arrange this session for all the trailblazers. Thank you for taking out time and seeing this particular episode. This slide denotes that yes, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and any kind of buying and purchase decision should be based upon product and functionalities currently available. Okay, so you have looked into multiple areas of B2C solution architect. Now the point would be like, hey, from where should I start from, or what kind of specifics do I need to look into? Because it is vast. We agree it is vast, but then what should be my starting point? So on this particular slide, you can actually see number of areas and what do they denote. B2C solution architect can go into and start learning from the industry multi-cloud scenarios, that how do loyalty works with multi-cloud, how do retail RCG works with multi-cloud, the multiple use cases which are available there. So that could be starting point. If you're having a domain knowledge, then yes, you can add a lot of value into a B2C solution architecture based upon your experience. Then if you are a solution designer, and if you're able to gather know-how around multiple clouds, then yes, into solution design we would require people who have got keen eye on data, understand how the orchestration works, how do integration takes into place, and how to actually bring up that shopper experience from an end user. So solution design could be the other thing from where you can start from. uh, a lot part of B2C solution architecture depends upon the kind of customer experience we are providing. And one of the typical know-how or the typical knowledge for people is that yes, marketing cloud is there, which can act as a layer of engagement, which is true. But then we have got service cloud as well, where you can go and enable a service agent to look into incoming chats, how you can let the mobile apps work on a way that it shows the right kind of recommendations, right kind of features for the customer who is purchasing something on the app, things like that. So customer experience plays a bigger role into a solution architecture as well. The fourth point is data and integration. We have spoken about this in the last episode itself about data strategy, and integration plays a bigger role because you need to go into and look into hey, how marketing and commerce are speaking with each other, how MuleSoft can be used, or do we need MuleSoft here, do we need to use custom APIs, do we need to use some sort of inbuilt connectors, things like that. So if you have got integration know-how, you would be really be enjoying the multi-cloud solution architecture as well. And the last point is governance. What does governance means? People can have different viewpoint on governance, starting from the creating of center of excellence to talking about multiple stakeholders on how to navigate a particular project. And the story is no different for B2C as well, because we just don't have relevant clouds like marketing, service, commerce, experience clouds, but then there are like very rich experiences which we can build with the help of Tableau, Slack as well. So yes, there could be like multiple stakeholders, and through governance we need to make sure that how do multiple teams and systems are talking to each other. Not just about stakeholders, with governance we also need to look into that our solution which we are building uh, goes and fits in seamlessly into the law of the land. We are looking into the compliance required, where we are managing the consents, all those things. To an extent, scale and performance we can also attach to governance, that hey, none of the time should have actually our slide should, our site should actually go down based upon the heavy traffic on this on the site, the heavy incoming traffic. So things like that play a role. So largely, if you have got experience around one of these topics, or you have got good interest into any of these topics, you're ready to get into the journey to become a B2C solution architect, and then you can connect dots into the other pillars and other segments what we have just now spoken about. What we are seeing now is actually spanning across multiple clouds. So I've just now mentioned that hey, we do not just have service marketing commerce, but we have got MuleSoft, Platform, Experience Cloud, Tableau, etc., through which we can build those multi-cloud use cases and make sure that the end customer who is actually interacting with our brand on internet or any other place do not need to get into the nitty-gritty which is on the back end, but understand that hey, we know who that human is behind the screen, and we are able to support him fully with our offers, with our recommendation and the service he's looking for. The solution architect scope is across business, delivery, and technical leadership. So you as a solution architect have the opportunity to actually impact or influence these three line items as well. So it's a pretty interesting role of a solution architect, and we do hope that with the upcoming slides you're able to understand more about the solution architect persona and able to go ahead with your journey. Yep. So now we have seen that hey, where to start from. It would be now good to see that hey, let's look into one of the architecture diagram and like see how a solution architect or how an architect would have actually implemented this, designed this, would have brought them together in what fashion. So good. So it can give a good amount of a trail into what's coming up next. A word of caution I can say right away that this diagram what you're going to see is marketing focused B2C solution architecture, which means that whatever you're going to see here is coming into CDP or coming into marketing, and it interacting with other systems. There could be a scenario where your client would want to keep Salesforce core as the center of the architecture, and then you deal with that. So keeping that in mind, this is how what we're looking at is this. We have got a CDP in the center. It's talking to messaging and journeys, the marketing cloud, and it is getting data from CRM, and some of them is like real-time data which is coming from say Experience Cloud site, etc. Some of the data which is coming into CDP is like on the batch time manner. So Commerce Cloud or Salesforce core would be interacting or sending data into CDP in a batch-wise manner, but then it can also interact with other systems on a real-time manner as well. What now actually can also be interesting to see is that there are like number of kind of objects or data points which are coming into CDP or marketing cloud through all these systems. So to take an example between say like CDP and marketing cloud, messaging and journeys being used to send out emails, communication. So it can send out the engagement data, the open and clicks happening on the emails. It can enrich the profile, as well as it can take back the information from CDP and then take those segments which CDP would have created and push them into journeys into the relevant campaign. So it's sending the profile data, engagement data, and getting back those segments which needs to be activated. So that's how a CDP and marketing and journeys is going to speak with each other and able to support a scenario in our viewpoint. So this is a B2C architecture, and like I would like to repeat myself, this is slightly tilted towards marketing, where every data part is coming into CDP, but there could be a very good situation where a commerce side is somewhere sitting in center, and we need to actually provide data sets, provide data points, provide or send catalog information, update inventory, etc., and create that architecture around it. Yeah. So if I need to look into a wholesome customer 360 constituents, this is how it kind of looks like. where I got messaging and journeys, CDP, Tableau, other kind of external systems, B2C commerce, Service Cloud, MuleSoft, which is playing a role. Now, what we're trying to look here is that every of these clouds, every of these products have got certain amount of objects which are mastered or which are created at those ends, which means if it is some sort of consent I need to manage, marketing cloud would be kind of collecting the consent through cloud pages or through emails, or even B2C commerce would be kind of going out and collecting the consent on the transactional emails going out. On the other hand, Service Cloud would be the place where I need to have cases, assets, loyalty information, knowledge articles, etc. being placed out here. I can have CDP, which will look into the party identification, create an individual profile. I'll have B2C commerce, which will have cart items, etc. stored there. And MuleSoft playing as a role of an experience layer, which will create an API-led connectivity and help us connect these systems with other external systems. So it looks simple so far, but if I may just go around and try to bring everything together, now we know that hey, this is how multiple objects are coming up and how core platform, service, commerce, MuleSoft, etc. are playing a role and getting the multiple constituents together to become a part of one suitable architecture, right? So this is how I would like to keep an example. Now this is just one place which talks about the capabilities of each of the cloud and the kind of objects they keep, or how do we call them, that something is being created here, some sort of status is being created or being mastered into one of those clouds. It would now be good to understand and to look closely that how can we go across and in fact look into a use case and kind of understand that from where will a architect would start from when they would have to implement a certain use case, and in that use case multiple of these clouds are in the picture, like say like B2C commerce, service and marketing. So keeping that in mind, let's just look into the abandoned cart scenario. Yep. So let's just look into abandoned cart workflow, that how do an solution architect who is asked to design a workflow for abandoned cart, how will he actually go across and address that. Yeah. So for that, just try to go into whiteboard mode. So basically how it all starts is that there would be a user and yeah, we can start from scratch. There will be a user who will kind of add the item to their cart. Once the item would have been added and no checkout happens, that he doesn't go out and check out the particular product, after some time we would like to go out and figure out that hey, is the user still in cart, like are you still shopping, have you just left the website, has anything of that sort happened or not, right? I'll just go and try to check that. If the user is still in cart and they haven't yet made the purchase, say it is a yes kind of scenario, I would like to start a chat with that user, try to give a a small nudge that hey, do you want any help from our side, things like that. If suppose the user is not in the cart so far, it is no, they are not in the cart, and then there will be a .js collect code, collect.js. It will go and it will monitor the behavior of that user on the site, and when it will monitor the behavior, we expect it to go across and even collect some data about how much time he has spent, the items added to the cart, so and so forth. Now what we want next is with this information we should go across and marketing cloud should go and trigger the emails based upon the behavioral events, and we can then put that person into a journey, because we just don't want to have a one time engagement, just want to put them into a journey and send an abandoned cart kind of an email, right? That you have abandoned the cart, these are the recommendations, these are the cart items, so and so forth. So what the next happens is that the user clicks on that particular email, and we can go and set up the tracking in the email, and we want to first check out that, hey, does that purchase happens or not for that particular user. If in case purchase happens, I can say yes, the purchase has happened. We can then go back and make sure that the purchase is now uh, kind of associated with that particular email that was clicked. So we understand that yes, this worked, this campaign was successful, we can do more of such kinds, things like that. If in case the purchase wasn't taken place, let me say it was no, then I can send some other coupon, because clearly just sending an abandoned cart is not working right now. So yes, I can include some coupon as we go forward. This is a kind of I can say uh, flow an architect can actually come up with to address an abandoned cart workflow. Now pretty interesting thing would here would be to look is like how is or how are my like multiple clouds playing a role in all of this situation. So if I talk about Commerce Cloud is out there. Yep. So this is where I am having B2C commerce playing a role, wherein I have to go check into the cart, I have to set up collect.js and monitor my user behavior. Okay. Yeah. Then we have got something like Service Cloud as well. So I need to go and check where my Service Cloud plays a role. Yes, my agent can be sitting in Service Cloud and they can chat with the user if the user is still in the cart and they haven't yet made the purchase so far. And finally, if I need to look into Marketing Cloud, then all of these activities are being taken place in Marketing Cloud. Okay, so yeah, so that's where Marketing Cloud comes into picture. Okay, so what we've seen so far is that how B2C commerce and Marketing Cloud and service plays a role, and how an architect can actually go through multiple of these systems and then create a flowchart on how those activities would be played out. Now there are some of the highlights or some of the assumptions, not assumptions exactly, but pointers which an architect would have kept in mind while he was creating this flow. Otherwise the flow would have been slightly different. So those flows could be something like Marketing Cloud gets the user information from the Commerce Cloud. So there would have been some sort of a connector or an API sync or some sort of REST services speaking with between marketing and commerce. Triggers are set up to go out and send those emails. There would be a reporting functionality either to SQL queries or other reports, which let me understand that how my emails are performing, and the user does not kind of abandon the sorry does not goes and complete the purchase, but the cart is still into the abandoned format. So that's where my solution would actually fits into the place, and then I would like to add more colors to this particular solution so that the team understand that yes, what we need to do, from where to start, what all do we need to go across, and kind of add from the technical point of from development point of view for these scenarios. So the number one point is you have to set up the collect.js part or the collect.js code into Commerce Cloud. So this particular collect code will track each cart, like all the products with each of the cart call, and then we can create a link to recreate the cart triggered by Marketing Cloud. So the cart recreation logic needs to be built in the Commerce Cloud to support this, and we can even customize Commerce Cloud with API endpoint to build a cart content. So what I can do is I can one by one write the steps we need to do, kind of put a summary of this proposed workflow. So you need to go around and set up collect.js code, and this is happening in B2C commerce, right? And then you also have to set up the catalog import in Marketing Cloud, because even the Marketing Cloud needs to show those product images, photograph into the email, so there has to be catalog import, and then for that we need Commerce Cloud to Marketing Cloud connector. Next part you need to do is you need to go across and set up the triggers in Marketing Cloud. So what does that mean? You can actually create behavioral triggers, so that you can go across, and as soon as, not as soon as, but after some time, when a person would have actually abandoned the cart, an email goes out, the email gets triggered. You need to build email template with appropriate promotions for each of the products. You need to define the journeys you want to push them into a journey being built. You can also go out and do a trigger listen, that you need to send out the email within like 1 hour, 2 hour, and it kind of listens for the collect code based upon the set timeline. And the trigger then adds the user to the list after the timer, which details for emails to be used. So that's why you need to go out and look into these kind of steps as well, to go out and send an email or a trigger from Marketing Cloud. There are some sort of setup recommendations as well, that hey, would you want to show recommendations as well in your email, because this could be a good idea, that hey, you have left shoe, but if you also buy socks, we are giving you 10% off. So you can actually go out and set up recommendations, and the connector can bring back into Marketing Cloud any kind of purchase history, customer information, to set up those kind of recommendations. You also need to go across and set up the click tracking in email. I can continue from here. So I can go and I can set up click tracking in email. So what does that mean? The audience file or the URL field, we need to get to the product to go out and purchase. It's a kind of a tracking URL, so it gets tracked in Einstein, and in a dashboard in Marketing Cloud to track that. And you can also leverage GA360 to complete this part, because this was important for us to understand that how was our email performing and all. And lastly, you need to make sure that the email opt-in consent is being honored. So you can collect the email opt-in consent preferences in Commerce Cloud, that have they said yes to receive abandoned cart emails or not, and you can do this with profile settings. Okay, so you need to go and pass in the opt-in consent, so that Marketing Cloud knows that to whom people we need to send out the email or not, once we are ready with the complete flow as it goes forward. Yeah, so this is what you would be going across and talking more about as a solution architect, to understand that hey, I need to follow or I need to create abandoned cart workflow. What all do I need to follow the steps to complete that? Now what you also need to do is that understand that when I'm planning for an integration layer between maybe I can choose this between commerce cloud and marketing cloud. What kind of connector I'm using, what are the features of those connectors, what are the functionality, where is the email being authored, how do I enable the transactional email delivery, how is the data feed being ingested, it's real time, batch time, all those aspects you need to be pretty much sure about when you speak about the MC connector uh, with the B2C commerce. Yeah. When I speak about other kind of considerations, you also need to spend good amount of time across data feeds, which means that are you using SFTP to go across and set up the catalog feeds? How are you getting the recommendations? Do you want to customize the catalog feed with product categorization data to generate the best recommendations? And I mean, what is the kind of frequency to go and get these kind of data feeds? So that is what you need to ensure into your MC connected data feeds when it's talking between commerce and marketing. uh, the subscription preference we've already spoken in the opt-in consent, so that we can actually go in and it needs to be stored in marketing cloud, so that we understand which user should or should not get an email. And the more important part is we should keep on updating the subscription preferences as well, so that with time we don't go across and miss out on any kind of regulatory compliance need. So through that, through subscription preference, we are able to collect the opt-in consent, store it in marketing cloud, but keep on updating it based upon uh, the current you know the current preference shown by the shopper. Yep. uh, Other thing is localization and performance considerations. Those aspects also, you as a solution architect needs to make sure that how I'm going in and making sure that my solution understands that it can relate click tracking to revenue, which means it can base marketing cloud Einstein capabilities, uh, uh, provide the core functionality to go out and track the revenue. And like mentioned earlier, we can use Google Analytics for this as well. We also need to speak about performance considerations when you're going out and designing this solution. So you need to go and speak that, hey, what happens if I've got X number of product variations, which means suppose if I've got more than 1 million of product variation SKUs, that is color, size, are imported every day. How do I understand that I mean the time required for the flat file import, etc. Or how do I mean uh, how do I actually need to go if that volume and frequency is a concern for me? It all depends upon I mean what is the size of SKUs are you actually talking about, that you need to include into your connector aspect. And lastly, localization. This is important, especially because you can have a commerce site which is available across multiple languages, currencies, etc. So the language, currency, product types needs to be considered, and the commerce cloud marketing cloud connector needs to be customized to support this. If in case there's a different inventory for the same products, different BUs needs to be considered, and yeah, marketing cloud can play a role on that aspect. That is, there are, for example, for the same product, like in, let's say, shoes, for a different kind of a country, there is different kind of inventory or the style available. Probably different kind of BUs on marketing cloud might help us out. And lastly, you also need to look into that there are multiple brands. How do you go out and set up the orgs accordingly? That please understand that that what are the goals for which the recommendations, especially with the shared cards across the brands, are happening, and how to present those recommendations. Because if we have got same card to be used across multiple brands, it will present challenges. So I'm kind of a beauty brand. I've got, you know, five kind of brands with me. There is a cart. How do I make sure that this cart, which was abandoned onto uh, beauty brand number ABC, beauty brand ABC, doesn't go out an impact for the brand XYZ and the users of that particular brand? So we need to make sure, and we need to consider multiple BU licenses, especially with multiple brands, to ensure that they're like it is getting balanced recommendations across those emails which are being sent out. Okay, and we need to follow the subscriber key best practices, that we are able to understand that yes, we are talking to a human, or in case there is one person having multiple identifiers, we don't miss out on sending out emails, and able to honor their opt-in opt-out preferences as well. Yeah, if a service cloud is in play, it should generate a subscriber key once you have enough information to create one, and it will include into the PI data load. And lastly, we spoke about chat. So you have to go and understand that how you can invoke the chat, what is the time, what is the kind of activity that should be putting a trigger that hey, we are going to leave this tab, a chat gets opened if the x number of x minutes of time being spent around a chat gets revoked, invoked, things like that. So if you are using a live chat, you need to pass the session ID from Commerce Cloud to Service Cloud to be used in that chat. Okay, so what I just spoken just now is like, the kind of activities or steps an architect needs to look into once they're designing a solution. And this solution was around abandoned cart, and we have actually got to understand, okay, this is how I can go in and look into, maybe I can type it here itself, an abandoned cart workflow. Okay, so this is important for us to understand that hey, okay, don't have much space on the top, so maybe I need to just bring it back to where it was. Do, 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 do. Not a good idea, but yeah, abandoned cart workflow, and this is an abandoned cart workflow which kind of speaks through that hey, the number of steps we need to follow in order to make sure that we are able to create a seamless solution, a solution which helps us connect multiple clouds, understand the data integrity, and we are able to service to that human which had abandoned the cart, and able to provide him the best possible inputs to complete his purchase. Yep. So this was all around abandoned cart, and thank you for being a pretty patient listener so far. If you have any more questions, and you're looking forward to go and explore more of such kind of scenarios, please go across and visit our website or our program site, which is sfdc.co/b2c git. That includes a lot of this information which you are seeing here, that will provide you all the PLC courses what we have, and other useful sessions what we have recorded. But thank you for your time today, and really thankful for the all support what we've got from Salesforce developer group, and we intend to go out and do many more such meaningful sessions with the audience. Thanks a lot, and stay safe.